Greetings from Southern Michigan. It is Sunday morning, and I was just sitting here sipping on some hot garden tea. I don't know what's going on. We move. I start drinking tea instead of coffee. Since we do have a few hours before church, I figured I would shoot a video. Everybody else is sleeping. It's peaceful in this small house that we have here. As you can see, our living room behind us. Anyway, I thought I would talk a bit more about the move or answer some of the questions I got in the comments. So you guys have been very supportive, and we really appreciate all of your prayers. As much appreciated. But yeah, so this was a bit of a shock to us too, the move. It wasn't really planned. It just kind of all happened really fast. Sue Hagen, not sure how to pronounce your last name, but yeah, you said, wow, I can't believe you're all in Michigan. I know, it's crazy. We loved our house out there. We had a beautiful 4,600 square foot house. It needed a lot of work, but it was a nice house. We had a nice piece of property with the shops on it, and we had a nice garden started and all that with chickens and stuff. But you know, as believers, we have our seasons, so we are just in a different season. Keela Fox says, it's great to hear what you've been up to, but 700 square feet? I'm a wife. I can only pray for yours. Yes, my wife is handling that very well. She's doing a fantastic job on trying to make everything work and fit. It's been a challenge. We've had to give some stuff up. I think it's positive because we are hoping to build a small house in the future, and by living in this small house, we can kind of see what size of house we actually need. So kind of, you know, as we live here for a year or two, we can kind of see what we can live without and what we can't live without, and then just kind of build accordingly. One of the reasons we moved is because last spring, I listened to a guy talk about debt. Hearing him talk about how debt is a hindrance to this nation, how it's not healthy for anybody. It turns you into a slave. Now you have to have a job, and you know, even a mortgage, right? And we buy our houses for low, sell for high, and the newlyweds, the new young people that are supposed to be starting families and raising kids, the mother and father both have to go work in order to afford to even rent something, or, you know, let alone buy something. And I believe that's the problem with our nation, is our kids are not being raised by good, godly parents. They're being raised by the school system. We were able to buy something small. We were able to stay debt free, and my wife is able to stay at home and be a homeschool our kid. And that's another thing. Miranda is the only one that moved out here with us. The other two stayed in Idaho. Hannah wanted to finish school, and there's some other reasons that I'm not going to get into. So it's just me, my wife, and Miranda. She misses her friends, obviously, but she's handling it very well. Me and the missus said, I'm surprised you could leave your church in Idaho. It seems to have been great discipling for you. Absolutely, it was. We left a great church. We had a lot of friends there. We had a lot of family there. We had a lot of support there. Yeah, we definitely miss that church. However, we have found a new one here in where we're living at, and it's a great church. It's also a Calvary Chapel kind of based church. But yeah, we love it. We love the teaching. We're starting to get to know people a little bit, so I think we'll be fine. You know, it's when a church teaches book for book, chapter by chapter, verse by verse, I don't know. I just think that's so much better than topical preaching. I think topical preaching opens things up to opinions and misbeliefs maybe and stuff like that, or even avoidance of some of the harder scriptures. I like their verse by verse teaching. I think it's solid. And I think we will continue to attend churches that do that. I just can't see myself ever attending other churches. So Laura Clausen, I have a question. If a non-Amish person or family came to an Amish community and said they wanted to join the Amish, what would the reaction be? So if an outsider came to the Amish and said, I want to be Amish, most people would, with hesitation, be like, well, you can join. What you would have to do is go talk to the bishop, and then he would go through some things with you and still see if you want to be Amish. And if you are truly invested in this idea, then they will help you go through the process of becoming Amish, which is usually a 18-week kind of program that you got to follow the rules. And if you're following the rules okay, then you get baptized and you're a member of the Amish church. There are people who have done it and who have made it. There are many people who have tried it and didn't make it. Since you weren't raised Amish, you'll never feel like you fit in. You'll always feel like an outsider, I think, especially because of the language barrier. They always all speak Pennsylvania Dutch when they're around themselves, and you will have to learn that, and it will take a while, and I would not advise anyone to join the Amish. I know the life looks romantic and peaceful and all that, and there's a lot of good about it, but you can achieve that on your own, just basically by getting rid of technology and maybe just staying home more. Some of the stricter communities probably wouldn't even try to help you out, but I know the community in northern Indiana, they would, with hesitation, send you to the bishop to see how serious you are and then start the process. They are not against outsiders joining them. They're just very hesitant because most of them will not make it when they really get to know what it's all about. So, yep, that was a huge move. And if it's what's best for you and your family is great. Yep, I think it is what's best for my family for the time being. What happened to the livestock? But yeah, it is a huge move. Moving 1,700 miles in the dead of winter sucks. I am tired of being cold, working outside, packing things up, but it is what it is. The livestock, we gave the chickens away and we gave our pigs away. We gave one of our pigs to the pasture. We gave the other pig to some other friends at church, and we gave our chickens to Hannah's grandma. So we still have our 2 dogs. We gave a cat to my wife's friend, our friends at church. So they found homes, good homes, all of them. Green hubs. Show me your Sasquatch proof. I want to see him. Merlin Johnson asks, what kind of job do you have and why Michigan? Good question. So we live close to, within a half hour of the community I grew up in. I didn't want to live in the community. I kind of wanted to stay away from it. I didn't want to get too involved. I wanted to make it harder for me to go down and see friends, because moving out here, I knew a lot of people. I have a lot of friends here, and my wife doesn't. So I was afraid it would be easy for me to just run off, hang out with friends, and then she's left just here at the house with nobody, right? I wanted to stay far enough away from the Amish community, yet close enough to take advantage of the RV manufacturing that goes on around here. It is booming right now. I don't know how long that will last, but they make quite a bit of money. Fanny Hirschberger, what kind of Amish were you, if I may ask? Yep. So we call ourselves the Old Order Amish, but we were, it's funny, we were more lenient. We were the more liberal community. So Eli Yoder, who comes from a very, very strict community, says they are Old Order Amish and we are New Order. But we also would have called ourselves Old Order. The beliefs are the same. They just have a lot more stricter rules as far as not allowing things, modern things. We were allowed more modern things. Our community, the community we're close to, they are now putting up solar panels. They have, a lot of them have bulbs that plug into these tool batteries, like the Makita tools, Milwaukee tools, DeWalt tools, and they will just use those as lighting in their house in the evening. It's a lot cooler than gas lights. It's a lot easier than gas lights. And then they usually have a solar panel to charge some of that stuff up. They still drive horses and buggies. They don't have electricity. They allow cell phones if you have a business. Come to Shipshewana, Indiana. You'll see them everywhere. Somebody's mentioned a new name for my channel, and I love it. So instead of the Amish potato, I could now be called the Amish Spud Mitten. That is pretty clever. I might have to switch to that. We'll see. We'll see how long we sit here in Michigan, and then we'll go from there. Anyway, hopefully that answers some of your questions. Continue praying for us. We really appreciate that. Need it. But yeah, we are settled, and we will see you next time. I'm CJ, or Carl. This is the Amish Potato.